Hey everyone, we're here with another full self-driving video. I've had to jerry-rig this to do the same route that I've done all the time, which is strange. Sometimes it does this, sometimes it doesn't. It's also based on traffic conditions. But we are on full self-driving 12.5.4.2. We do have an upgrade pending, which will give us the 12.6 version of the full self-driving for hardware 3. This is a 2019 Tesla Model 3 performance, and we don't have the upgraded version 4 hardware, so we're not going. This will essentially be our last video after when we do the 12.6 full self-driving, because hardware 3 will not get the version 13. So I don't know when that rollout is going to be, when they try to upgrade some of the hardware, but we will see if that actually happens or not. But let's get going. We can start it up here and move forward a little bit and then hit that, and we should be good to go. So we're currently in average in terms of the overall aggressiveness of the driving. Generally, this has handled things pretty well. The main issue that I've seen is that speed-wise, it's just not going the speed that you want it to go. So in those cases, if you want it to drive itself, you can. Right now you can see we're going 24, like it's going really slow, and people around you would be pretty upset with honking at you and different things like that. So after the train tracks were going a little bit faster, I would at least go 35. There are people that go 40 down this road, but so what I'm gonna do is hit the accelerator pedal till we hit like 38 and then see how we do here. What it seems to do is adjust based on your input and change it based on like the input that you give it. This on a fork here, it's going a little bit slower, a little bit more, and I want it to figure out what to do here. Okay, so it's making a left here. This is earlier than it's done previously, which is good. My thought process is at that fork, it should really just merge into the left lane. It shouldn't be in the right lane really ever. But we'll see how we go moving forward in this. This is where I had the jerry rig it, so I'm curious to see what it's actually going to do here. It's yelling at me to pay attention to the road here, but I am curious to see what it actually does here, if it continues to go or if it's just going to say like I completed this and then give you like the continue trip button on the navigation screen here. Okay, so we're coming up on our first destination. We'll see what it does here. Yeah, it wants to turn left here, but we're gonna cancel that out here, and then we're just going to slow down and then continue the map here, and then we're gonna set this and then just keep going. The reason I'm doing this is because there's no way for it to repeat, so I have to disengage it so that it actually goes the route that I want it to go. The quote-unquote very inconsistent repeatable route that I've chosen. All right, it's deciding to go, and then it's braking. Okay, it should brake. That's good. I have my foot over the brake because I'm a little bit terrified about what it's gonna do. But it was like, I'm not sticking my head out into the intersection yet, so it's good. So that handled it pretty well. This did not handle it pretty well in terms of like the vision here. When it made that left, it went over the, if it was a median and it was raised, it would have went over the curb. I don't know if it would have actually went over go over the curb, because I haven't experienced that yet, but we'll see how it handles the rest of this here. Still going the speed limit at the moment around the mall. Okay, it's merging into the right lane. That's okay. This is the one where it's questionable. We don't know if it's gonna make a right on red or not. How quickly it's gonna make that right on red. If we're gonna get the green light, who knows? Okay. Slowing down for it. Stops before the... It did not stop fully. Looking at the camera, sees the cars. Good to go. Ooh, okay, that was jerky. It's going though. Okay. Merging left, and it did that correctly. It was staying in the right lane, and it stayed in its own lane. Okay, another merge left. Good. We have a green light, but we're not gonna hit this green light here. All right. Good. And I'll pause it when we hit this light and then turn it back on once we get the green light, because there's no sense in me wasting space here. All right, light is changing. Good to go. This one's a little bit iffy because the line isn't super clear. This one's merging into the right lane here, so it went over the lane line that people would be making a right onto, so that could have been a collision there, but that wasn't great. But it is interesting. Let's see if it does a turn signal here. No turn signal, that's good. Cars are supposed to be merging in this way, so that's good to not have that turn signal. I'm gonna push the accelerator pedal a little bit so that we go like 52-ish. I want it to stay around that speed. But overall, that wasn't too bad. In a bunch of traffic, that would be not so great. It is nice that it's staying in the right lane here, and was in that right lane to make that left turn, because we have a right coming up, and the full self-driving computer should know that, hey, I'm going to be making a right, and basically pre-plan out the lanes that you're going to be in, essentially. So, curious to see if it does it the entire round here, but we will double check that and give you an update. Slowing down for this turn. 17 miles an hour, pretty slow. Again, that is a 45 mile per hour road. Typically people are going like 55, 60 miles an hour on that road. Not saying it's the best thing, but you know, if you were to flow with traffic, slowing down that much is not the greatest. But I'm not going to complain. It did the turn. It's not how I would do it, but again, this is not like based on how I would do it. We're going 46 and a 45. I'm going to push the accelerator pedal to go a little bit faster to the speed that I would typically go at. And then you can see it does some adaptive speed based on your input. So because I put that input in there, now it's going 54. So a little bit strange. I don't know why. Like, it auto selects the speed based on the conditions that it sees. I'm obviously in average. If I put it in chill, it probably would be slower maybe. But aggressive would change that a little bit. But even on these roads where it's completely empty and you have a ton of room in front of you, it still goes the speed limit when I want it to go faster. And people are behind you kind of just being like, what the heck are you doing? Go faster, sort of thing. Coming up on the stop sign to go left. There is no white line on this one. There's just the stop sign, so we'll see. It's a pretty good spot to stop. It did fully stop. It's not going. Oh, okay. Is it gonna go? It thinks it's a red light. This is the first time that I've had this issue. Oh, okay, it's going now. I figured it out. after somebody would have probably just been honking their horn and like, what the heck are you doing? Never seen that happen before, but it saw the lights, the flashing red light, which honestly it should be a flashing yellow light. Not sure why it's a red light. Flashing yellow light means, proceed with caution. It's 45, we're going 41. I'm gonna push the accelerator to go to 52. There's an animal crossing right there. Thought it was a cat or something like that. But yeah, that was the first time that I've seen that fail there. So, it certainly can do some good things, but it chokes up hard on things that is not good. So, is this something that I'd recommend people paying a lot of money for? No, not really. Not at all. Especially when what was promised isn't here. So hard for me to say paying that $6,000 when I bought it was worth it. Alright, roundabout, there's no cars coming, so it should be good to go. That was fine. It's still going quite slow. Alright. And tomorrow we'll go into this when it's daytime, so we'll have a nice fresh test for the 12.6 version, the last version of Hardware 3, which I believe is the last version of Hardware 3. I really don't know what they're going to do. I think Tesla is really spending most of their energy in the version 4 hardware and not really worried too much about the version 3 hardware. But that makes sense from a development standpoint. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of my car. I imagine what makes more sense for them to do is, and this is very dependent on if Tesla can actually have full self-driving and robo-taxi with Model 3s, Model Ys, Model S's, and X's, and all that crap. I highly have my doubts. The latest news is that they're supposed to be rolling this out for Austin in Texas later this year, and in California also, I think maybe later this year or next year, and then fully in North America by 2026, so next year. We'll see. I mean, this again is quite good, but it's also not. It's hard to explain. I always mention it's similar to a driver's ed student, if you will. All right, we'll see what it does here. Okay, you can see that steering wheel going everywhere. It should stop. Sometimes it doesn't. Not entirely sure why. I'm paying attention to the road. It should stop, but we'll see what it ends up doing. So we went around the roundabout, and that's fine. You can imagine, picking somebody up like an Uber, it doing this type of thing. So, just using the navigation, which is not always the greatest reference point. All right, I'm gonna stop it because I'm not sure what it's gonna do here. I just want it to stop, so yeah, it's gonna keep going. So, so I'm gonna stop it and then go to our next destination here. And is it going back the same way? It looks like it is. Okay, cool. This has also been a problem before too, going back the same way. So let's get it going. So what I'm curious about is how are they going to upgrade the hardware in this car, because you have to take out all of these cameras, replace them with the new cameras on the sides, the rear, the pillars. Is Tesla just going to offer you a trade up? I imagine that makes the most sense for them to do. But the thing is, like, they can't make you pay more. So that's the other thing that makes it more difficult. I don't know. I imagine, you know, you get a service request and then you can upgrade your hardware. And if they, you can bet your ass if they make you pay for something or the options. I want to make a video about that because I want to know if this guy is just completely full of shit. Obviously, the $30,000 a year sort of thing. So I bought it in 2019 in August. So this would have had to make me, this is rolling on year 6. So if we say 5 years of revenue, let's say it wasn't 30 grand a year. Let's say, you know, it was like 15 or even 10. So that would be like an extra 50 or 60 grand and possibly buying like another one of these cars for that amount. So yeah, I mean, Tesla certainly owes these beta testers a lot of gratitude and a lot of money for giving them all this data and, you know, giving them all this feedback, because honestly, you know, and maybe the people who have purchased Teslas have put their money into their stock and have made all of that money in the stock. I don't know, but yeah, I just think that's just an insanely terrible thing to say, that it's gonna be here, and you know, it's 6 years later and there's still huge issues. It certainly can't make you money. There's certainly no Tesla robo-taxi app that I can send my car off to go and make me money. That surely does not exist today in 2025 in February. But next car is definitely not going to be a Tesla. That's for freaking sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say. Like, again, this is all really great stuff, but like when you get promised something and it doesn't get filled, you know, that's like, definitely don't buy something with the promise of something that isn't currently functioning and currently there. Bumper to bumper traffic, road trips on the highway, quite good. When you're paying attention, like, it would be amazing to just be like, okay, I want to take a road trip from Illinois to California or something like that. And you just program in the destination and you sleep until you have to charge or something like that. That would be amazing. Is that ever going to happen with us? I don't know. Would anybody ever trust it? I mean, if you're sleeping in the driver's seat, yeah, it didn't have that issue when we just went through that. I'm not sure what happened on that first go, but it stopped and it would not go for a while. Yeah, that would be wild. That would be awesome, and obviously significantly cheaper than taking an airplane there, and obviously less carbon emissions that way too. Full self-driving, like I said, it's good, but it's not great, and it's always tough to give things ratings. I think I've given these up to like a B plus in terms of like the driver interactions that we have. Like, again, I haven't tested any cars that can do like the turn-by-turn navigation, and in a suburban city, like, I don't think this is going to work in the city. I've driven this in the city and turned it on, and I just immediately could not trust it. All right, so we're going in the left lane here. This is a good spot to be. And then we keep going straight and then turn on the left signal here. So yeah, just operation in the city of Chicago, like, how does that work? Not great. I can tell you right now that it doesn't do great. I was in a parking garage, tried to enable it, and it wasn't, like, it doesn't know where it is. So, if you're relying on the navigation to pick somebody up, is that something that you can reliably do? Because if you were to do this from a, can't tell if they're stopped or not. I think they're stopped. If you were to do this from the perspective of an Uber, right? Some people pick people up from the wrong spot. So these maps would have to be amazingly accurate. And it would need to be something that is very precision-like. So I don't know if there's a couple things that you would need to do in upgrading, like, sort of the antenna here, so that the navigation gets like a very precise point. What happens if navigation cuts out? What happens if that does occur and somebody's in your car being driven? Okay, here we go. So it did stop. It didn't, like, and the car cut you off, so, didn't have any issues there. That was good that worked out that way. It always does have issues with, like, these types of lights where, you're good to make that turn. We'll see how this handles it here. It should just go right through it. That's good. And then here's a little bit complex too. I don't really know what the right move is for that. You should probably just merge right out of it like it just did. So that was pretty decent, not bad at all. Don't really have too many complaints there. And then we'll have to make a left turn at this light. And if there's a long pause, I might, I'll probably just leave it recording, whatever. Okay. Like, again, parts where it does quite well, and then you can see, like, what it does, and then you can be like, wow, that handled that well. But the thing is, like, can you trust it? That's the huge question, is that, like, can you fall asleep at the wheel and have this take you where you need to go? And what happens when you get to that point? I imagine, because they have, a steering wheel here, like, that's the other thing, is, like, it has a steering wheel. So, like, if you disengage it with your steering wheel, or if you push on the pedals while it's doing this and it gets into an accident, that's your fault. So, the main thing that I think Mercedes has done is that in certain points, or like highways or what have you, they've done I think they call it a level 4 or level 5 autonomy, and they take responsibility of the actual accident if it gets into an accident. So will Tesla ever get to that point? And would Tesla ever take the responsibility if you get into an accident? Or if you get killed in an accident, like, and it's your fault? How do you deal with that kind of thing? How can you trust something that is, handling all of this for you? So that's a huge conundrum that I don't know what is actually going to happen. It's making this right turn pretty slow here. All right. Car behind me. We're going pretty slow. I think it's going to make a right, so we should be good. Yep. All right. We're going 27 with the speed limit of 30. So I'm going to push the accelerator pedal to 35, and then I'll let go. I was even following my wife in this, and she goes like 40 here. So, if it's not going that fast, like, and she's a pretty, like, conservative driver. So if it's not going that fast, like, there's a problem. Ooh, skunky. Yeah, so honestly, like, throw it in the comments. Let me know what you think about, autonomous driving. Like, I've taken this car on road trips, and to be very honest with you, I've turned this on and haven't liked a lot of the behavior on the highway because it stays in the left lane quite a bit, and I don't want it to be there. Which I think some of the version 13 updates fix some of that, but again, like I said, I'm not going to get version 13, so I'll just get 12.6, which will be installed right after this. All right, we're merging left here with the... That's good. But yeah, let me know what you think and like how you think this is going to work, because I'm curious to see what ends up happening. And yeah, again, this is another one where it's a pretty decent one, where I'd rate it between like a C plus and a B minus. It's very passable in terms of like how it did. There was certainly an issue in terms of like the stop sign that it was at, and the blinking red light. But again, this is driving itself. This is pretty cool to see, but it's also, not there yet. But thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think, and we will see you in the next video.